Former Cuban / Irish heavyweight contender Mike Perez won his Cruiserweight debut in the first round against a guy called Viktor Biscak last night. Some of you may have seen it. I believe it's been uploaded to YouTube if you haven't managed to catch it. The fight lasted less than 30 seconds. Biscak went down very easily after catching a lead right hook from Mike Perez, or it might have been a counter right hook. Perez looked in fantastic shape. It was his first fight back since getting knocked out in the first round by Alexander Povetkin several years ago. When was it? I think it was 2 years ago now. He got knocked out by Povetkin. So this was his first fight back. He was 40 pounds lighter. Just think about that, people. 40 pounds lighter against Biscak last night than he was against Alexander Povetkin. Crazy. Lost 40 pounds of weight. That's how much he weighed against Povetkin. 240 pounds. Actually, it was more than that. 42 pounds lighter. Against Biscak, he weighed 198 pounds. So that is a hell of a lot of weight to lose. How will that affect him? I mean, he hasn't lost the weight quickly. He's lost the weight over a period of 2 years. So perhaps he'll be very strong. It's not like Kell Brook recently having to lose weight, coming down to welterweight from middleweight in only a few months. No, Mike Perez has had 2 years. So hopefully he'll still be strong at 200 pounds. And remember, he weighed in at 198 pounds. He was 2 pounds under the cruiserweight limit. So that suggests that he made cruiserweight quite easily. Will it affect his energy? Will it affect his strength? We'll see. But for the brief time that we saw him in there against Biscak, he looked sharp. It's going to be difficult to match him. Eddie Hearn says he's going to be working with Mike Perez, which is definitely a good thing because that will hopefully help him get some fights. It's going to be difficult to match him because none of the people who are not champions are going to want to fight Mike Perez. Nobody's going to want to fight this guy voluntarily. So it's a situation where the only time you're actually going to be able to get a quality opponent in the ring with Mike Perez is if there's some type of final eliminator for a title. One of the international titles maybe, or an actual world title fight. And how many of the champions are going to voluntarily want to fight Mike Perez? I don't think many, unless he shows serious vulnerability and maybe one of his next couple fights before he gets a title shot. Then I doubt any of the champions are going to be giving Mike Perez a voluntary shot. He's not a big name to be generating all kind of money to make the risk worthwhile. So he's going to have to maneuver himself into a mandatory position. That's the only way I see him getting a title shot at this point. Unless there's some type of vacant belt maybe that he could end up fighting for. It's going to be very difficult for Mike Perez to get an opportunity. So, yeah, I want to see more of him. Apparently, he was frustrated with the way that the Biscak fight ended. Totally understandable. He was supposed to be fighting Tommy McCarthy, which would have been a much better fight. But McCarthy's people, according to Eddie Hearn, got cold feet and went in a different direction. So, yeah, it was frustrating for Perez not to get some rounds in. And it was frustrating for me and probably for most of you too, because we want to see what Mike Perez can actually do at cruiserweight. He looks the part. Physically, he looks great at the weight. But how does he function? I guess we'll see. Hopefully, Eddie Hearn can get him. I mean, it's going to be difficult to get him a name, but maybe he can get him a journeyman that's known to be tough, that's known to go a few rounds, so we can see what Mike Perez can do a little bit. Drop your comments in the comment section below. What did you feel about Mike Perez's performance? How did you feel about it? Who would you like to see him in with in the cruiserweight division? I mean, domestically, Mike Perez is Cuban-Irish. Originally Cuban, but moved to Ireland once he left Cuba. So he can't be fighting for any British titles or anything like that. So difficult to envision him going in there against a Lawrence Okoli for a British title or, any of those British cruiserweights. He wanted to fight Tommy McCarthy. I believe that was for the Irish cruiserweight title. That didn't happen. So I don't know whether he'll be able to get in the mix domestically. He might just have to go straight aiming for the world level guys and the guys who are, in the top 10 of the major sanctioning bodies. Would you like to see a Mike Perez versus a Usyk? Would you like to see a Mike Perez versus Gassiev? Who's the other guy now that's got the Cruiserweight belt. I forget off the top of my head. There's Gassiev, Usyk. God, who else has got the belts, man? I totally forgot. Who's the guy that knocked out Manuel Char? You know how I am with names at times. The guy who knocked out Manuel Char with the uppercut, who just won the Cruiserweight title recently that Tony Billy vacated, the WBC version. He's good. My mind's gone blank. Anyway, you guys can tell me in the comment section below. Yeah, let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video. It's happening. I'm out.